Hello and welcome to Boring Dad Gaming, where today I'm going to be taking a look at the beta for Owlcat's upcoming classic RPG, Rogue Trader, which is set in the Warhammer 40K universe, which is a very exciting IP and a very exciting developer. I've played their previous games, Pathfinder, Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous, both of which were absolutely amazing in my opinion. Probably two of my favourite RPG games of all time, I would say. Very, very long. Very in-depth, but very interesting and just very well done. So I'm looking forward to diving in and seeing what this is all about. I played maybe the first 20 minutes, like I kind of went in and made a little bit of a character and then played the very, very early intro stuff. But then I thought I'd, do it from fresh on the channel, so let's just get involved. So in this beta, there's no voice acting currently. I understand the developers have said there will be some in the full release. We currently don't have a release date yet for that. If you've played their previous games, I think it's going to be kind of on a par with that. Like a lot of the main story beats are voiced, along with some of the character barks, some companion dialogue. By no means all of it, but some. So I understand it's going to be on a par with that. So something about other story modes. We've only got the main story to play currently. We'll look at difficulty in a sec. Little bit of an explanation, I suppose, for anyone who doesn't know what Rogue Traders are. I'm one of those. Although I've always thought the Warhammer 40K is a very cool IP, it's not one I've ever really sort of delved too deeply into myself. So let's just read this together. Take up the mantle of a rogue trader, a scion of an ancient dynasty of daring privateers that reign over their trade protectorate and explore the fringes of the known galaxy. Darkness looms over the bloodline of von Valancius as it faces multiple dangers, from a traitor amongst its ranks to the numerous enemies seeking to destroy the most daring and brave agents of humanity. It is up to you to hold the reins of shattered protectorate and forge a new path for the rogue trader dynasty that finds itself in the vortex of wars, intrigues, calamities and heresy. The stakes rise as you cross the paths of the most powerful adversaries and rivals that chase their own goals in the darkness of the Coronis expanse. Sounds good to me. I'm probably going to leave it all on default difficulty for now, but I'll quickly scroll down so you can kind of see this sort of thing. I think as with Owlcat's previous games, the difficulty settings are very customizable, very granular. So you can change things like enemy units dodge modifier, sort of up or down. I think it was -10 by default. Cover bonuses, it's the damage that your party's taking, the damage that your party's dealing out. Loads of other stuff, but I'm not really going to delve too deeply into that now. Let's just have it all for default and see how that feels. So character creation. I think it's got a couple of presets here. Adept, Marksman and Fighter. Let's go right in and have a look at the custom character creator though. I won't delve too deeply into the options, but let's just cobble something together that I quite like. This one, that's quite fun. I quite like that actually. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Appearance. Well, let's try it with. Can we give him facial hair to go with our portrait? Body type's probably fine. That's probably all fine. What else have we got? Oh, that's male or female. Hair. That's what we want. So we've got kind of like this ponytail thing at the back. I guess it's kind of and a little top knot there. Oh, it's probably. That's probably more like it, isn't it? And I want to give him a beard as well. Eyebrows is fine. I don't know if we're going to get that up close. But we kind of want like a little sort of moustache beard thing, don't we? Moustache not quite as long as that. Need a longer moustache, don't we? That's not too bad. It's not exact. It's not exact for the portrait, but that's fine. So you can do tattoos. I'm not going to worry too much about that now. You can change the look of implants and stuff. I think when I did this before, there was like a couple, but I think the rest are still to be implemented. We'll just leave that for now.
For the glory of the dynasty.
That's our bark there. That's fine. We can either be male or female voiced, so we'll stick with the male. our homeworld. Now again, I don't really know what this relates to, but it gives you some perks and stuff. But again, in the beta, this isn't necessarily feature complete. Like if we go down to some of these, it'll say things like work in progress, still missing some content. So with that in mind, it probably makes sense just to have a look at one that is sort of feature complete at this time. Which is probably Death Worlds. So upon Death Worlds, the plants, beasts, and sometimes even the environment itself takes aggressive and destructive forms, inimical to human life. So we get Survival Instinct. Once per combat, when the wounds of a Death World character drop below 30%, they gain plus 20% temporary wounds to their maximum wounds. Okay. So a bit more resilient, I suppose. They also gain plus 20% to dodge and armor when they have at least one temporary wound from a source. Get some attribute modifiers, including strength, agility, less fellowship, which is, I guess, akin to charisma in a D&D sort of setting, by the sound of it. And less intelligence as well, so maybe more of a combat character than, you know, like a sort of... They don't have wizards in Warhammer, but you know, that kind of thing. An intelligence-based class. Talents, Brutal Hunter. 15% crit hit chance against targets with bleeding. Death gig plus 10 to critical hit chance for axes, hammers, and las weapons. Lasers, I suppose. A melee focused one might be quite fun with this kind of thing. Tenacity. I think we've. Oh no. This is once per combat they can ignore like stunned, blinded, or immobilized. Pretty cool. Alright, so we'll go with Death World. Origin. I don't really know. Some of these origins, again, we got the work in progress thing. Commissar, ruthless officers, blah blah blah. Feature. I mean, if you look at our portrait, that does seem to be the one it's pointing us towards, doesn't it? We also have Vagabond. I guess it's more like a rogue type, but missing content. I don't really see us as a priest or a navy officer. Noble, again, missing some stuff. And you've got Psychers, which are, I guess, kind of almost like the magic class, but I'm kind of tempted by the Commissar just because it kind of matches our portrait. So what does this do? You can mark enemies. Okay, other things. So another thing about Owlcat RPGs, if you've played any, is that they can be incredibly complex in terms of the underlying systems and stuff. They're complicated RPGs. They're not simple ones. But we'll try and learn it as we go. Those things you probably saw were not in the beta yet. So our doctrine, this kind of sets what sort of class we're going to be, I think. So this one, warning, contains limited selection. Adept. Use intelligence and perception. Marksman. Ranged weapons. I feel like probably with our Death World stuff, we're going to want to be maybe go down more the melee route. So if we go fighter, deal high damage in close quarters. Focal points, melee, movement, dodge, armor, parry. Yeah, that all sounds good. So we'll go fighter. This one seems to be selected with a thumb. I don't know why. Is that just because it's recommended to us? I'm hoping that's... I guess? I don't really know. I feel like I've selected that one, but we'll see. Alright, stats. So we've got 30 points left. So this is all our sort of skills here. Weapon skill, so this is going to be how well we are at using weapons. So it goes up in blocks of 5. I'm going to add a couple of upgrades to weapon skill. Ballistic skill is ranged. I'm probably going to go down more of a strength route, so let's buff that as well, probably with toughness, agility, dodging and stuff. It could be quite good. Perception, that's more of an investigative thing, which is maybe... Exert control. I tell you what, I like a bit of charisma. Let's have a bit of that. I think maybe we'll have to... I was thinking about, do we offset the intelligence one? But I think probably not. Carouse. You do get a lot of skills linked to intelligence, don't you? But... we've got one more upgrade, basically, haven't we? I think we put it into strength. If we're going to be this melee character, let's do that. We're on the Von Valancius flagship. I won't edit that. That's fine. And we've got a little character summary. We're going to choose my name. It will be Boring Dude. Because I don't know if he's a dad or not. He'll be a boring dude. So that's cool. Just a little summary of what we've got. Let's finish. Here we are. Conrad Voigtveer. Oh, an excellent place for contemplation. The man who has approached you is gazing down into the depths of a vast temple on one of the lower decks. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? Oh, an impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity. Right, so we get to choose something. What's our character going to be like? I feel like we might be quite dismissive of all this stuff. We are a rogue trader, but we're probably not a zealot. All this ostentatious luxury, this laughable pretense, it is enough to make one think that the architects meant to compensate rather than glorify. The man cast an intrigued eye over you. Oh, an interesting perspective. However, allow me to offer you a bit of advice. In the interests of your own well-being, you should frame your thoughts with greater piety. Demonstrating such a lack of care when choosing your words might be viewed by certain people as evidence of insufficient trepidation before the God Emperor, the master of humanity. I prefer to serve by acting, not speaking. Oh, that is commendable, quite so. However, there are many, many who believe the toils in his name start with diligence in choosing one's own words. Remember that next time you're presented with the privilege of conversing about him with loyal servants of the Imperium. Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers in the employ of Her Ladyship, rogue trader Theodora von Valancius. At your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before. Voigtveer bows his head and focuses his attention on you. Divisional Commissar of the Officio Prefectors, Boring Dude Xanathor. Oh, my regards, Commissar. Finding you was a difficult task given your parents' fate and your upbringing in the Schola Progenium. Truly our meeting is an act of providence, is it not? Voigtveer smiles faintly, but you're not sure it is directed at you. I will be frank with you. You may forget your family name no matter who gave it to you or what its origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth you share your dynastic name with Her Ladyship. Bear it with honour. You say, I'm one of the heirs. There is another? Voigtveer shrugs lightly. There are, and you will meet them soon enough. I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let's address it. Oh, but of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Ethelthrad von Valancius are conversing on the observation platform located in one of the wings of the officer's deck. Let us join them there. I shall accompany you. Okay, so we've got to follow this dude, and that's fine. And we can rotate the map, we can zoom in and out, but actually we can zoom in from here, so this is kind of as zoomed out as it gets at the moment, which is interesting. We can look at things. A massive conference table, obviously crafted from real wood, a resource of incredible value aboard a void ship. It does feel slightly more zoomed in than I would generally play this kind of RPG. I kind of like to see a bit more. What's this? Can we poke it? Ooh, we did something. Did something else. Incomprehensible information is displayed on a large screen above the cogitators. Alright, well, let's carry on following this dude. Wherever he's gone. If I hit... Okay, yeah, so interactable stuff is highlighted with tab, it looks like. A candlelit altar with a copy of the 2348th volume of the Lex Imperialis, the Codex of the Sacred Laws of the Imperium.
It's about time.
Master whispers it's an emergency. The esteemed Lord Captain's pet has broken the bolts on its cage and escaped. Oh, how's that possible? Ooh. Blasted. Watch out, boring dude. Kill the rogue trader's pet. A wild Xeno beast held in a cage for amusement has escaped. It has to be stopped. Okay, so this is our first time with the combat. It doesn't seem particularly combat related, so we can... Oh, start the battle. British Guards having a go. Blam. Oh, what's he done? Ready your weapons. Momentum changed by 6 to 108. Okay. Now, what have I got here? Let's give them hell. Charge, 2 AP. Why can't I? Oh, melee weapon required. Have I not got a melee weapon? I'm a melee melee class. Have I got anything in my inventory? No. Okay, so we're playing a melee character, and they've given us a gun. Well, okay. Okay, well, let's mark the creature. Did I do it? How do I attack? Oh, I suppose... Is it this? So we've got a 40% hit chance, but I wonder how if that'll improve when we get closer. Hopefully. Things like sightlines and hit percentages would be good. Here, okay, well, it actually has... So if I do... Oh, okay, I take that back. It does actually do that. So if you can sort of highlight where you want to move, and then if you choose the skill, it gives you an updated hit chance. So it's actually at 70% from there. So okay, let's confirm that movement then, and we'll take a shot. And we hit 8. Okay, yeah, that's basically our turn. What have we got here? Is that movement and AP, I suppose? Is that? Cool. All right. Space to end my turn. I think we might be bringing this thing down pretty quick. There it goes. I scarcely believe this on a day like scarcely believe it on a day like this. What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. A wild beast breaks free on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. Without taking his eyes off the dead beast, Voigtveer removes the Voxcaster from his belt and speaks a few quick orders into the device. Then he turns to you. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plans. More guards coming in. Spread out. No one is allowed to enter the premises. Stations. At your service, Master Voigtveer. The lines on Voigtveer's forehead soften, and his voice regains its usual courtesy. I'm afraid I must remain here, boring dude, for Lady Theodora's safety. I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor. The Master of Whispers gives you a curt bow. Fine. Can we loot stuff? Not at this time. Alright, so there's stuff to look at on this side then. Looks like sort of displays of stuff. A violet alloy, which on closer examination turns out to be a crafted object. Symbols carved with a primitive tool are visible on their surface. a black shard that resembles obsidian. If you look closely, you discern a strange, barely perceptible glow inside the artifact. There might be references here to stuff within the 40k universe. I won't be picking up on those. As I said, I don't have a lot of experience with the IP myself. Others will. If you do spot anything like that, please do let me know in the comments. Be always interested to learn a bit more about the lore. A massive golden amalgam interspersed with sparkling particles. The stone on the pedestal is no doubt solid, but its surface shimmers and changes hue, as if someone captured a piece of the choppy sea.
None shall stand in my way.
A strange object that resembles a pelagic coral. The porous surface is pitted, a sign that it has been underwater. A grey-green crystal with white veins. A low hum can be heard coming from the artifact. Okay, can we talk to these deck enforcers? Your Grace, don't worry, all threats have been eliminated. It is absolutely safe here. I doubt that's true. Okay, so... we haven't got any quest markers or anything that I can see. There's no mini-map, unless I'm... that could be a mini-map? No, it's the options menu. Press M. Okay, so we get a map there. That's... I don't entirely know what that is. Okay. In any case, I think we have to go this way. Oh. Edelthrad. This is simply irrational, Lady Theodora, says the man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by sin skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. The tall, grey-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson. Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation, no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with the Aeon VI, Edelthrad? Survey the room. Your first impression of Edelthrad, who appears to be about 30 years old, is of parchment-like skin stretched over a tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants, and bone. Yes, so if we hover over these words in bold, it gives us a little sort of codex entry. Augmentation, a mechanical or electronic cybernetic substitute for biological limbs or organs. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tic, and the jerky movements are all signs of some illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. In stark contrast to Edelthrad, Theodora von Valentius's features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Edelthrad. Between the two of them, you see two more men. One is a grey-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. That is an electronic digital storage device. I think we can pretty get the impression of that's like a tablet. And the other is a behemoth bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manner of weapons. Our second candidate has joined us. The dry female voice and the powerful feeling of being watched force you to look at Theodora. The rogue trader is looking straight at you, and her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive. Boring dude, approach and give me your answer. Consider this hypothetical situation. Aeon VI, or is it Aeon 6? Sorry, I thought they were talking about a virtual intelligence. They're talking about a planet. Aeon 6. A new world on the fringes of the Coronis expanse. High seismic activity. Regular magma eruptions. Metamorphic rock deposits. Prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crew sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? So we have some responses here, one of which is linked to our lore knowledge. We've obviously passed some sort of behind-the-scenes check. Those spirits could well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify that it is indeed the case, and if the population of Aeon 6 engages in xeno-worship. Or we could send in more people until it succeeds. Or we could just assume they're lying. Use any means necessary. Or just exterminate the entire planet. Well, let's go with the law check one. Theodora arches an eyebrow. Reasonable and prudent. However, chasing after ethereal creatures may prove a rather long and fruitless endeavour. Edelthrad scoffs. No, apart from Xenos, an untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are... I don't know why he's got all cockney. Apart from Xenos, an untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are far more dangerous and difficult to eradicate. I suspect that you, boring dude, are simply unaware of their existence. Shut your mouth, Edelthrad, before I decide to shut it for you. You feel the temperature in the room drop. Edelthrad gives you a baleful look, his eyes narrowed. I invite you to try, you miserable vermin. Now I'm intrigued to see how your pathetic life will... Edelthrad. Theodora's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview. I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I forgot the time. Edelthrad bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing you another look. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves, and then she turns to you. So, boring dude, why are you here? I do not know yet. I hope you will clarify that. She smiles wryly. Clarity, a luxury that few of us can afford. There is a reason why I did not explain all the details of the question I posed to you earlier. Beyond the borders of the Imperium, seldom is one granted an opportunity to enjoy information in abundance. This, however, is one such opportunity. My name is Theodora von Valentius Massimo Afscaris. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity, and my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic, the warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Let's look what that is. I think the rest of it is fairly self-explanatory. The sacred imperial relic document that reaffirms the preeminent rights of a rogue trader throughout the galaxy. Basically a license to kill, I think. Mine is the honour to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, boring dude, are one of those with the Von Valentius blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. One of? Does this mean there are others? Naturally. Some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Edelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Bloodright alone is not enough to earn the high honour of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be challenging for those who share your blood. Conrad Voitvir served me for many years before he made his mistake. Wait, the Master of Whispers is related? His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name Von Valentius, even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Voidfear's performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least. I'm ready to take on this sacred purpose. Oh, yes, you would be, wouldn't you? The question is, am I ready to choose you over the rest? You came aboard hours before the warp jump and have not yet distinguished yourself in any way. As things currently stand, I have doubts that you're suitable for the role of a rogue trader. Alright, well, thank you for clarifying. The vox attached to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shuts off the transmission and gives you an imperious nod. I have some time before the navigator, a noble mutant whose genes allow them to safely guide the warp-capable void ship through the warp, gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. So the warp is... so in this universe it seems that the ships travel across interstellar space by entering this alternate dimension of pure energy and madness existing as a mirror to real space, also known as the Immaterium, the Empyrean, the Ether, the Sea of Souls, or Warpspace. So it's kind of... You go into this extra space, you travel along it, and when you come out, you're closer to your destination than you would have been like in the intervening time. I'm not entirely... Like I said, I don't really know much about, if anything, about the lore, but I think that's kind of sums it up. We can talk about the incident. Oh, is that so? I do keep a number of pets native to one of my planets on the officer's deck. Perhaps someone was careless during feeding time, or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Geller field, or perhaps our possessed ship was in the mood for a lark. Abelard, the grey-haired officer, gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval.
Lady Theodora, for the good Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumours spread about by uneducated riffraff?
Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. She turns to you. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators. A cogitator is a type of digital computer in the Imperial... Any type of digital computer in the Imperial... And unused compartments to make ignorant folks speak of spectres dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live. Where are we headed? The Rykad system, the domain of the rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Only 3 rogue traders exist in the Cronus Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valentius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendour. I set the course for Rykad on the demand. Theodora grimaces. She gives you a stern look, then shrugs. For a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose of this voyage, but now is not the time. What are my current responsibilities? Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually I will find a post that suits you as I did for Edelthrud. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide. I have no more questions. I'm not going to exhaust every dialogue option in this sort of look at the beta. We'll try and proceed as quickly as we can through to quests and the action and that sort of stuff. In that case, I shall head to... Theodora's Vox awakens once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord Captain freezes, listening to the Voxcast, then nods and draws her weapon. Disturbance is reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. She glances at you. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated. We've been ambushed. The battle begins. Right, she's used the ability kill them. So on the left here we've got, you may have noticed in the previous fight, I didn't highlight it, but we've got the initiative order, I guess is how you describe it. Oh wow. Right. Oh, no, not my go yet. My go. Okay. So we've got these people here. If I was to come into, say, cover here and then take a shot, 47% is not great. 54 is a bit better. We would be in cover, which can't be said by anything else, unfortunately. Or we just run pell-mell towards them. If we were to come here and fire at this guy, there's an 89% chance of hitting. There's so many enemies there, though, it seems a bit silly. I honestly think, even though it lowers our shot chance, I think we have to tuck in here. We can mark him, though. Oh, wow. Good shot. And that's not scripted either, and I got this far in the bit I played before, and I missed so many shots, including on the Xeno monster in the first one. Okay, well I think that's pretty much all we can do, so let's end our turn. Okay, Abelard's dodging a lot. He must have like a high agility skill, I think, towards that. Oh wow, I missed what that was.
I took care of this one. One fewer target.
Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, it's our turn now. There isn't that many left. If we were to come, say, here, we'd still only have 47% on this dude, which is the same as we've got from here. So if I was to come here, 54 on him. I don't know if there's anywhere I can go that gives me a higher chance of actually hitting this guy. Oh, 79 from there. Let's do that then.
My tactics are flawless. All too easy.
There we go. I think it's just this guy left now, isn't it? These cutthroats have missed every single one of their turns. What's she doing? Oh yeah, that's her weapon. Okay. Yeah. Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture. Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single Whoreson survive. The rogue trader turns her eyes to you. Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst on the deck, Not bad. I've seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security makes them that much more susceptible to the harsh realities of warp transitions. So, I don't know if this might explain that again. It doesn't, but we'll get a bit more explanation. She looks at the Vox in her hand. All you can hear is lifeless static. Let's see what's happening, because I think she explains. From what... Oh, this is Abelard.
From what we have seen, boring dude, I can speculate that we are dealing with some variety of warp madness.
The Seneschal is astonishingly calm for someone who just survived a sudden attack.
Such episodes are not uncommon among voidsmen who have found themselves outside the boundaries of real space, though such episodes seldom spill onto other decks.
Theodora clicks her Vox a few times. The cast is not working, or have been sabotaged. Either the warp is toying with us, or someone went to great lengths to cut the ship's communications. I will need a direct channel to the chief engineer before I can get a sense of what we're up against. Whatever it may be, keep your weapons at the ready. I imagine it will be some time before we no longer need them. It may be connected to the beast thing? Possibly. Quite likely. Theodora winces and flicks a switch on her Vox a few times. We will investigate at a later time. Right now, we need to isolate the affected compartments and try to assess the situation. What are your orders? Mort has gone on ahead with a clear path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the arch-militant requires aid. And be quick about it. Alright, I'm just going to... Again, we can't loot the bodies, which is a shame, because I'd really like to have got a melee weapon. Hopefully I will eventually get my hands on a melee weapon, because that's kind of how I've built my character. What do we do here? Is this not where I go? This might be not where I go. I thought you ran off that way. Oh, maybe he's going this way. There's a breakthrough attempt. Crew to arms! They've all got swords. Can I not have one? Oh. Do I help them? Is that the way I'm supposed to go? What does it look like on the map? I think that's just me, isn't it? And it's the way I'm facing. If I do try and go here, can I... I can't actually go down that way. Okay. Well, maybe we go this way? A bit more idea of where I'm going would be nice. Oh, there's Mort. Okay. Conrad von Voitvir lets out a sigh of relief upon seeing you. Oh, thank Providence you're alive and well. Have we done more yet? I don't think we have.
Always on time, eh, Conrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You can set your chrono by it.
Conrad pointedly looks away from the arch-militant to you. Mort, pull yourself together. He looks back at you.
What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away.
Mort pulls the Vox from his belt and hurriedly reports on the situation. Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent, the Vox Master is not responding, armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report! I have not yet received word from the Engineerium regarding any Geller field failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organised mutiny. Who would attempt a mutiny here in the warp? Lunatics, fools, heretics. This ship houses thousands upon thousands of people. Pernicious thoughts and warp-induced delusions could have tainted any one of them. It's a difficult notion to accept, but such risks are inescapable. First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure, and I have the means to do both things at once. Her expression changes as her eyes flash ominously. Theodora looks at Voitvir. Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he's unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons. I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18. Blasted. Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlass and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-militant with me. I must go to my study, and it appears that we might encounter heretics along the way. Boring, dude. Theodora glances at you thoughtfully. If I may, Lord Captain. Voitvir's voice is soft and cautious. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Edelthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the House as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Edelthrad's psyker powers... Then it's settled. Boring dude, find Edelthrad and return here, in any state. This elevator, she points at the massive doors, leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers in the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand? I hear and obey, Lord Captain. Then move out. Mort, come. Voitvir gives you a nod. Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk and you do not even have proper gear. You can shield me from potential threats. I shall make do. Lead the way. Of course you will. He rummages in his pocket for something. Oh, Lady Theodora would never have someone she couldn't rely on as one of her heirs, but that is no longer relevant. With a pop and a sharp crackle, something hits you in the abdomen, and you are consumed by unbearable, gut-wrenching pain. Ooh. I think we have our traitor. I promised you a special destiny, boring dude. It is time to fulfill it. Rummaging with my shoes. Leave my shoes alone. Well, I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming, actually. Oh, and a kick in the balls as well. Charming. Okay. Careful, careful with our guest. Be gentle. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the warrant chamber, and for that I need him breathing. Voidfear looks down at you. You're back with us, I see. Delightful. Voidfear, you two-faced scum. You're the one behind this mayhem. Oh, how perceptive of you, boring dude. I'll help you with the next insight. I need you here for your blood. You have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself. We are in the anteroom of the warrant chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all her power, the sacred warrant of trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to the true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel. What is it, inbred? Is your blood too thin? On the contrary, this war's blessing has raised me too much above your kind, Von Valentius. The Sentinel refused to submit to me, but you can help. After all, isn't that what family is for? We've got another check that succeeded. What sorry, pathetic excuse do you even have for your apostasy, you sordid, wretched grok seed? Something, either your tone or the venomous words, throws Conrad off for a moment, as hateful fury blazes from beneath the mask of a cold professional. Wretched? What do you know of wretchedness, Theodora's cur? Are you hoping to buy a grain of her indulgence with your blind loyalty? Oh, I know this delusion. But thank the gods it no longer has power over me. Humanity can rot. I no longer serve mortal kind. Voidfear hesitates for a second and then produces a strange weapon. A blade without a handle that shimmers blue in the light. Once my work is done, I'll make that pompous wench von Valencia's watch as I erase the entire dynasty chronicle and I commit the fate of the bloodline into the hands of the warp gods. And you, boring dude, will be one of the instruments by which I will accomplish this righteous act. The blade flashes in the dim light and drops of your blood appear on your palm. For a brief moment you feel nauseous, your head is spinning, and then quiet whispers begin to flood your mind. More and more sourceless voices echo each other, drowning out your own thoughts, replacing them with a singular urge. Go to the gate. Go to the gate. We have willpower 30. We could try and fight the voice in our head. Get out, I'm not your puppet. We succeed. The voices in your head persist in their demands, and yet you feel this unseen chorus momentarily waver under the strength of your resolve, until the intruding influence forces you to your feet and pushes you towards the gates looming in the centre of the chamber. We succeeded the check, but we're doing it anyway. In the gateway arch, you see a cogitator with a human likeness built into the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automaton created from a lobotomized human being. The Sentinel turns its head to you, one of its eye sockets lighting up with two ember-like irises. We can examine the device. We succeeded. You carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that was used as material for the machine's components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect that you are looking at a technological relic known as an archaeotech, which is an incredibly rare and powerful technology from the ancient age of humanity. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With the screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward, closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs. Can we get in closer on this thing? Kind of. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. A whisper runs through your consciousness, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after Voidfear wounded you with his blade did not go away. On the contrary, their source coiled itself into a tight knot somewhere in the depths of your mind. Look for anything that could be used as a weapon. You look around in hopes of finding something that could work as a weapon. Your search is in vain. The chamber anteroom is completely empty and in perfect working condition. Nary a broken panel or a protruding piece of rebar in sight. Alright, let's just get it over and done with. The Sentinel's jaws clamp around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. A few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vid screen of the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes pass. The sentinel's jaws remain closed and you're beginning to feel sick. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate you could catch your breath. Maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever...
High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
You do not understand where this quiet... Oh, God. You don't understand where this quiet voice is coming from, crackling like static. Is it the sentinel? The cogitator? Is it a figment of your weary mind? Whichever it is, you can clearly hear every word. I must have lost my mind. I'll change the voice as we now know what it sounds like. Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol. Well, there is still another way. Oh, he's escaped. The warrant chamber has opened its doors for the Dynasty heir. It's time to make sure the sacred warrant of trade is safe. Where is it? I don't know. But what we're going to do, I think we'll save it here. And we'll come back for another episode. I'm not exactly sure how many episodes I'm going to do, because I think the beta is sizable. I'm certainly planning to do at least a few episodes on this and, you know, check out a little bit more about how it looks. So hopefully you've enjoyed this first episode of this beta mini series. If you could hit the thumbs up button, that would be fantastic. As would leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this very early stages of the game. Is it something you're looking forward to? Is it something you might have played as well? You know, the beta is available to anyone who sort of chooses to buy some of the early versions of the game. Some may even have played the alpha. I didn't play the alpha myself. But yeah, let me know. And if you're also watching this and haven't subscribed to the channel already, if you could do so, that would be amazing. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time for more Rogue Traders. Bye for now.